Welcome once again to the session. We are studying this book, The Creative Transformation, the Golden Lotus Sutras on Spiritual Practice by Master Choa. And we are currently on page 21. Page 21. Yeah. All right. So we had done this second sutra last time, and I had suggested that please think why Master Choa. We were talking about that these great gurus, they will take birth. The guru is the soul and not the person, and the soul takes birth in the right place, in the most beneficial place, because they have choice. They can be born as Indian or this or that or whatever. So वो तय करते हैं कि हमें कहाँ पे पैदा होने में हम सबसे ज्यादा लाभ पहुंचा पाएंगे. So any thoughts, anybody? Would you have any thoughts and would you like to share them? Why you think Master Choa took birth in Philippines and not in, say, India or China or any other place? Yes, anybody? No, you still need to think about it. All right, please think more. When you share some thoughts, then I will share my thought also. But just keep in mind that sometimes the same highly evolved soul, sometimes who we call the world teacher, according to Theosophy, that same soul has taken birth many times. And even Master Choa, for his Guruji, he has given us this, he has shared with us that in different lifetimes, Mahaguruji Meling ने क्या रूप धारण किया था. So we know about an Egyptian incarnation, Chinese, not Chinese, but Tibetan incarnation, and of course the Indian incarnation. So similarly, that is what happens. And great teachers are beyond religion. That's what we are saying. So I believe Krishna and Christ, according to some of the Theosophists, it's the same soul. So he gave karma yoga to the world, and he also gave Christianity, or I mean, of course, the followers call it Christianity, but the same teachings were given in another region. All right, let's move forward. The teacher should teach according to the student's level. We could not ask Einstein to teach nursery school. You need a teacher according to your level. So you remember we talked about Guru. What does the Guru do? They step down the teachings, from very, very difficult, very, very esoteric to something that we can relate with. Now, even between all of us, there is differences in backgrounds. There are differences in, are you aware of the 7 rays? So we have different types of, chosen paths or inclinations or preferences and so on. So different students need different level of teaching and different presented in different way. So, for example, some gurus and some spiritual schools, they are more into bhakti and less gyan. Some are more into gyan and less of karma. And for master, of course, he has synthesized all the different paths of yoga into arhatic yoga. So here the principle of like energies attract, if you have done psychotherapy class, there you learned this law, the energies of like energies attract. So that is what happens. We are attracted to a guru who is of our ray and who uses terms and methods or, the teachings make sense to us. If there is a mismatch, then number one, guru's time and effort is being wasted. He is wasting his or her time on a student who is really not compatible. And secondly, for the student, there is a waste of time, and the student may even lose motivation for the spiritual path. A student may get confused. So there is a better idea to find a guru that makes sense to you. Okay, let's move forward. You cannot trust people just because, let's read the next 2 sutras together. Just because they are called guru, note the quotation marks. Never accept things blindly. A good teacher will give you freedom of thought. The teacher does not force his thoughts on you. The teacher gives the students freedom to draw their own conclusions. So this is a very, very important thing, and especially in India, where we tend to be very devotional. हम थोड़े से questioning कम होते हैं. We don't ask so many questions. We don't. It is considered, socially थोड़ा rude माना जाता है सवाल पूछना. ये क्यों ऐसा कैसे है? ये कैसे आप कह रहे हैं? हमें थोड़ा सा अंधविश्वास की तरफ ज्यादा. Our society, kind of pushes us towards Andhvishwas, I would say, because we are not, it's not, questioning is not looked upon well. But I can tell you from my personal experience that, I was very skeptical. And the first pranic healing course, if the teacher had asked for blind belief, if he had said, oh, you have to believe whatever I'm saying and you cannot question, I don't think I would have lasted the class itself. And, even when I went to Master Choa's workshop for the first time, this is August 2005, I was not sure that, because in those days, no videos or anything were available. So the only connection with Master Choa was the books. And I had never not seen him in person or, listened to him in person. So the first time I went, I was quite skeptical. But within the first 5 minutes, mentally, I accepted him. And within, I think, 2 hours, where he did a blessing and we saw miraculous healings happen, I was able to, have full faith in his abilities. So that is what a good teacher will do. They will say, okay, listen. While you're listening, don't question, because then, your absorption will not be there. You listen, you absorb, and then you question, you think about it. So a good teacher or a good guru will not say, I'm telling you this, you believe this, and then you see how your life changes. No, he will say, believe it temporarily, and then you evaluate, you validate as per your experience, as per your world experiences, your life experiences. So that, I think, is one, at least personally, I can say that if I hadn't encountered that in this school, I may not have been a very good student. I mean, I don't know if I'm a very good student, but at least I'm a faithful student. Shall we move on? Page 22. There are 2 sutras here. Let's read both of them. When you look at the teacher, remember this is the spiritual teacher within a physical body. The spiritual teacher is not the physical body. When you say namaste to the teacher, you are addressing the spiritual being within the spiritual teacher. When you invoke, you are not saluting the physical teacher. You are saying namaste to the spiritual being within the physical teacher. So if you have understood the word namaste, it already means that the divine aspect within me, that is the soul, recognizes and salutes, shows respect to the divine aspect within you. So even when we do to each other, we are supposed to say, we were supposed to have that meaning in our mind. When if I say to you namaste, it should mean to me, in my mind, it should mean that I, the soul, recognize you as a soul and I salute the soul within you, because that, like me, you are also a child of God. Correct? However, Master Choa found that, in India, we were doing namaste, namaste. It was like, it had become like hi and bye and so on. We were doing it very casually. We had forgotten the meaning of namaste. Or at least when we used namaste, we were not sort of saying it with full intention. So he suggested to us, that we should all say Atma Namaste. But then he has given a proper way of doing that. What is the proper way? You're supposed to look into each other's eyes. Have that sense within you, or the emotion or the sense or the intention within you, The divinity in me salutes the divinity in you. I, the Atma, recognize and salute you, the Atma. Because there is I, the person, and there is you, the person. And why is it important to look into the eyes? Because, as we have been explained, the eyes are the windows to the soul and of the soul. Yes, I hope if you have done the soul course, you must remember this. Yeah. So, ये चीज को ध्यान रखना जरूरी है. This of course I'm going a little outside the what the book is saying. Now let's come back to what master is saying. He used to insist, even when he was conducting a workshop or he was present in front of us physically, he would always say, look at my eyes, don't look at the body. Why? Because it is the soul that is important. The guru is the soul within that body, within that personality. And it is not the personality we need to respect. It is the soul using, occupying, present inside that personality. I hope this is clear. I'm just trying to say because, in India, we are unable to fully comprehend this. First of all, the meaning of namaste. And secondly, this, that it is not obedience to the guru's personality. We don't have to show, मतलब हमें जो आदर दिखाना है, जो आदर सत्कार करना है, जो कनेक्ट करना है, वो गुरु की शरीर से नहीं, उसकी पर्सनालिटी से नहीं, उसकी आत्मा से. That is the teacher. That has been the teacher in past lifetimes and will continue to be the teacher in future lifetimes. Yes? So when you say namaste to the teacher, you are addressing the spiritual being, which is the soul, within the spiritual teacher. When you invoke, you are not saluting the physical teacher. You are saying namaste to the spiritual being within the physical teacher. So important teaching. Yes. And you can see also that to some of us who saw Master when he was in body, it was a little difficult not to connect with the personality. But many of us, I don't know how many of you have seen Master in physical body. I hope it is a little easier for you. है ना, क्योंकि आपने तो उनको शरीर में देखा नहीं है. You I hope it is easier for you to connect to him as the soul and not as the body. Yes. Okay. And our best practice is, one thing that I would suggest you do is that before you do anything important, you do an invocation, and that should include God and your guru. Secondly, at least once a day, maybe in the beginning of the day or any time in the day, do the Sharnagati practice. We have been doing it after the recorded session each time. And so my suggestion is, please continue to do that. Yeah. And if you really show respect and gratitude and love, I can tell you, you will get tremendous guidance. You will get tremendous healing energies. All those things that you need in your life, you will get. What is required? Purity of intention, purity of your gratitude, purity of your respect for the teacher. Yeah? All right. Let's move forward. Let's come to the next section. Students. So, this previous section was the teacher. Now we are talking about the students. The guru can show the way, but you must walk the path. You must transform yourself. This is very, very important. You see, unfortunately, many times we think that doing a course is sufficient. पर ऐसा नहीं है. कोर्स में तो जाके आपको जानकारी मिली, उसको आपने अपने जीवन में उतारना है. What Master some places he says, you have to understand it, memorize it, and practice it until you have mastered it. Otherwise, there is no point in, attending workshop after workshop, nurturing session after nurturing session. It has to change your life. Yeah. Many times I come across people who think that just because they have been accepted for level 1 or level 2, now they have reached some level. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You have to keep practicing. Keep practicing. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Rishi Patanjali says that your practice, the sadhana, has to be forever. It has to be without breaks, and it has to be with full respect and devotion. Yet, this is very, very important. Okay, shall we move on? I think we can do one more sutra. Sometimes students think the guru is the same as they are. They think the guru is as weak as they are. The limitation of the student is not the limitation of the guru. What may seem impossible is not impossible. Your limitation is not the limitation of the teacher. Do not make the mistake of thinking that your limitations are the limitations of the Guru or of God. What is impossible for an ordinary person is possible with the blessings of God, the Guru, and the higher peaks. Tremendous. There is a, excuse me, a wonderful interview, one of the rare few public videos available on Facebook and YouTube, where somebody is interviewing Master Choa and asking about, why do you invoke before everything, before you do anything, you do an invocation? Why do you, how does the help come down to you? Why do you have to ask for help? And so on. I won't, talk about in much detail, but I would strongly suggest that you please find that recording and you it's available. It used to be available on YouTube. I hope it is still available, either YouTube or Facebook, and listen to it. All right. It is really, really illuminating. My understanding, you see, I was a bit of an atheist. I have a science and technology background. So I was a bit of an atheist. So this invocation, prayer, it took me time to, trying to appreciate it. And then, but when I read this or when I heard this interview, it really changed my outlook. Master ने बहुत बारीकी से इस चीज को समझा. What he's saying in a sense is this. He's saying you are trying to do things. It's okay. You have limitations. Now your guru, the limitations are much bigger. Mane, not limitations. The abilities are much bigger. सो जैसे आपके मेरे बहुत सारे लिमिटेशंस हैं, हम ये नहीं कर सकते, वो नहीं कर सकते, ऐसे नहीं कर सकते. द गुरु मे नॉट हैव द सेम लिमिटेशंस. Similarly, God, of course, for God, if nothing is impossible. The God is the creator of the world, so uske liye kya impossible? Why is he telling us that? He is telling us that, Master is telling us that because he wants to tell us, in that interview, I'll just quote from that. He says there are two ways of doing things. One is the ordinary way. The second is with the help of God and Guru and the angels. That is why Master had this practice of always starting something by doing an invocation. And after it is over, giving thanks. You must have seen, है ना, आपने देखा होगा प्राणी कीरिंग स्कूल में ये एक ट्रेडिशन है. कोई भी काम शुरू करते हैं, पहले हम इन्वोक करते हैं और उसके बाद में धन्यवाद देते हैं. I hope you have seen that. So that is where it comes from. What you are doing is you are saying, my guru has much more ability, much more power. Let me involve the guru in my work. And of course, the grace of God also comes down through the guru. तो मुझे उनको इन्वॉल्व कर लेना चाहिए. ये मेरे लिए समझदारी की बात है. If I involve God, Guru, then I am not doing work in the ordinary way. I am doing it in the divine way. I am doing it with divine assistance and guidance and help and protection. What do you think is smarter? Think about it. All right, I think we'll end here. I'm sorry, I again went a little beyond the